Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Welcome to the Dhammapada program of the Buddha Dharma TV. Today we are going to discuss the verse number 77 of the Pandita Vagga, the chapter on the voice. Ovadi anusasiya asabhaja nivari sohi satam pyo hoti asatam apyo hoti. Literal meaning is the wise and good person who reproaches and warns and prevents a person from getting into antisocial behavior is liked by virtuous individuals and disliked by those who are evil. Very clear. The wise and the good person who reproaches and warns and prevents a person from getting into antisocial behavior is liked by virtuous individuals and disliked by those who are evil, disliked by the evil ones. So the good ones and bad ones. Especially that Ovadi anusasiya, the meaning, literal meaning of this, reproaches and warns. In some commentaries, the distinction between Ovada and Anusasana is carefully established. Reproach, Ovada, is described as telling a person about what is good and what is bad in terms of what has already been done. Telling a person about what is likely to ensue if one did either this or that in the future is referred to as anusasana. Ovada anusasana. Warning, anusasana is warning. Reproach, ovada, is made when one is physically present before the reproacher. But if the two persons are not physically present together and one's communications are conveyed to the other, that is described as warning, anusasana, warning. Again, telling once only is ovada, reproach. Repeated telling is anusasana, warning. Asabhaja nivari prevents one from resorting to antisocial action, make him abstain from antisocial actions. That's a good, noble character of a good friend. It is abstinence from the wrong actions, killing or harming, stealing, and misconduct. It inculcates compassion to all living beings, the taking only of things that are given, and living a pure and chaste life. By such moral conduct, one gives others fearlessness, security, and peace. All morality or the good life is founded on love and compassion, metta and karuna. Love, metta. Compassion is karuna. So, all morality or the good life is founded on these two noble qualities, And these two noble qualities cannot be called a man of moral. A person without these two qualities, salient qualities, cannot be called a man of morals. Verbal and physical acts not tinged with love and compassion cannot be regarded as good and wholesome. Surely one cannot kill, steal, and so forth with thoughts of love and a good conscience. But it can be done only when one is driven by thoughts of quality, greed and ignorance. It is therefore necessary to cultivate a certain measures of mental discipline, because the untamed mind always finds excuses. Untamed mind. Excuses to commit evil in word or deed. When thought is unguarded, bodily action also is unguarded. When the mind is not controlled, your bodily actions are also not controlled and they are unguarded. So, our speech and mental actions. Conduct builds character. Good conduct builds character. No one can bestow the gift of a good character on another. No one can. Each one has to build it up by thought, reflection, care, effort, mindfulness, and introspection. Just as in the mastery of an act, one has to labor hard, practice hard, so to master the art of noble conduct, on which a good and strong character depends. One must be diligent and on the alert. Diligent and on the alert. In the training of character, the first thing necessary is to practice self-control. Self-control. It doesn't come from outside. It has to come within. So self-control is important, necessary, a must. If instead a man gives himself up to ensure pleasures, his good social conduct and character will fall away. On this, all teachers of religion and psychology agree on this point. Those who are intoxicated with pleasures and are driven by the urge to enjoy themselves cannot be properly educated until they have learned to admit their faults. Regarding high moral conduct, the Buddha advised thus. This is the Buddha's advice. Regarding high moral conduct, this is Buddha's advice. What is it? Evil can be abandoned. If it were not possible to give up evil, I would not say so. Since it can be done, I say unto you, give up evil. Just like a mother, loving mother advises his or her loving child. Buddha advises us here like a dear father, like a dear mother. How he advises, evil can be abandoned. If it were not possible to give up evil, I would not say so. Since it can be done, I say unto you, give up evil. The Buddha continues to also say, good can be cultivated. If it were not possible to cultivate good, I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say so. Since it can be done, I say unto you, cultivate the good. Cultivate the good. What advice, full of compassion, love. Buddha advises us like a mother, like a father. Buddha is a mother, Buddha is a father to all of us, full of compassion. Advise us to get rid of bad and get involved in good, and to cultivate the good and give up and abandon the bad. This is the kind of guidance that a good advisor should provide to make a person abstain from unacceptable, immoral and antisocial behavior. Nabhaje papake mitte, nabhaje purusuttame, purusadhame. Nabhaje papake mitte, nabhaje purusadhame. Bhajete mitte kalyane, bhajete purusuttame. This is verse 78. And how nice advice Buddha is giving us. Don't go around with the evil ones, evil friends. With rocks, do not consort. Spend your time, bhajete nitya kalyani. Spend your time with noble friends, good friends, noble friends. Bhajete purusuttame. With worthy ones consort. What a beautiful, what a wonderful, what a noble advice Buddha is giving us. Parents who are grown up, please teach this guidance to children. Let them grow up with this kind of teaching, practicing day-to-day life. So don't go around with evil friends, with rocks, do not consort. Spend your time with noble friends, with worthy ones consort. The biggest problem the parents are facing is how to rear their children, loving children, how to conduct them, how to avoid them to go with unwanted friends, evil friends. How to encourage them to get involved with good things, in good things, and mix up with the good friends. They're doing their best to train their children, to guide them proper way, and encourage them to associate with good friends and to avoid evil friends. Is very important. If you do not encourage your children to avoid evil friends and to spend with noble friends, to associate with noble friends, this is good advice. Parents should encourage their children when they are at the very tender age of their life. Then they grow up with these noble advices, they will be good, decent children. And parents fail to do that, they are neglecting their most important responsibilities. So, do not go around with evil friends. Spend time with the noble friends, the worthy ones. And it is very important advice from the Buddha. While residing at the Jetavana monastery, Buddha spoke this verse with reference to Venerable Channa. Channa was the attendant who accompanied Prince Siddhartha before Prince Siddhartha became a Buddha. Channa was his attendant. When he renounced the world and left the palace on horseback, Channa accompanied Prince Siddhartha. When the Prince Siddhartha attained Buddhahood, Channa also became a monk. As a monk, he was very arrogant and overhearing because of his close connections with the Buddha. Channa used to say, I came alone with my master when he left the palace for the forest. At that time, I was the only companion of my master, and there was no one else. But now Sariputta and Moggallana are saying, he's complaining to the chief disciples of Buddha. We are the chief disciples and are strutting about the place. When Buddha sent for him and admonished him for his behavior, Channa's behavior, he kept silent but continued to abuse and taunt the good two chief disciples. Thus the Buddha sent for him and admonished him 3 times. Still he did not change. And again the Buddha sent for Channa and said, Channa, he advised Buddha. Buddha advised the Channa, his companion when he was Prince Siddhartha. Companion means he was an assistant to Buddha, Prince Siddhartha at the palace. Channa, these 2 noble monks are good friends to you, that is chief disciples. You should associate with them and be on good terms with them. Be on good terms with them. That was Buddha's advice to Channa. In spite of repeated admonitions and advice given by the Buddha, Channa did as he pleased and continued to scold and abuse the monks. Buddha, knowing this, said that Channa would not change during the Buddha's lifetime. But after his demise, Parinibbana, after Buddha's Parinibbana, Channa would surely change. On the eve of his Parinibbana, the Buddha called Venerable Ananda, the chief attendant of the Buddha, to his bedside and instructed him to impose the Brahma punishment, Brahma Danda. There's a rude punishment. Buddha advised, instructed Venerable Ananda to impose this Brahma punishment, Brahma Danda called, to Channa, for the monks to simply, that means, this Brahma Danda means the resident, other monks' companion, for the monks to simply ignore him and to have nothing to do with him. After the Parinibbana of the Buddha, Channa, learning about the punishment from monks, felt a deep and bitter remorse for having done wrong, and he fainted 3 times once. Then he owned up his guilt to the monks and asked for pardon. From that moment he changed his ways and outlook. He also obeyed their instructions in his meditation practice and soon attained arahanthood. You see, the Buddha imposed Brahma Danda on his former attendant when he was Prince Siddhartha before Buddha. When he left the palace, even Channa accompanied him, of course as assistant, helper. So Buddha's impose of the punishment was extremely nice, appropriate. Papake mitte nabhaje. The Buddha advised, Purusha dhamme nabhaje. Kalyana mitte bhajeta, Purisuttame bhajeta. Bad friends, no bhaje, do not associate. Buddha said, wicked evil friend or wicked evil people, na bhaje, don't associate. Don't associate who? Bad friends. Do not associate wicked evil people. Do not keep company with all those wicked and evil friends. Then kalyana mitte, that means associate with worthy friends. Bhajete, associate. Puri Suttame, noble superior people. Bhajete, keep company with. Do not associate with people who have evil ways. Avoid the company of wicked, evil people who are mean and bad. Associate with the worthy friends. Keep the company of noble persons who are superior in quality and virtue, and who will be able to elevate you. This is a great advice, and the parents must follow this advice from the Buddha if you want to have beautiful children. To guide them, to direct them, to advise them, follow this noble advice of the Buddha. Try to convince your children the importance of associating good friends and abandon bad friends and get involved in good things. And there are different types of friends Buddha has explained. But those who friendly only, some friends, they are good friends. When they get involved in bad things, you cannot consider them good friends. It's papaka mitta, noble, ugly, dirty friends. Therefore, you should abandon them. There are different types of friends Buddha has explained them. A good friend is a kalyana mitta, a banyan friend. Papa mitta, malian friend, is one who leads you to heaven. In the Sigalovada Sutta, advice to household Sigala, 8 types of friends are described. You must read the Sigalovada Sutta. Of these 4 are good friends. 8 types of friends, 4 types of good friends. They are different, who helps you in need, a friend who is ready even to give his life for you, a friend who protects you against evil, a friend who is happy when you make progress and praises those who speak well of you. A friend is keen to profit from you. A Vachiparama, a friend who helps only in words. A friend who approves both good things and the bad things you do. A pious higher friend who leads you to such evil act as taking intoxicating drinks. So you see the 4 types of good friends, 4 types of bad friends. Parents must know these things and encourage your children to mix up, to associate good ones. So the verse number 77 talks about friends, and 78 also talks about friends and different categories of friends. It's good to know these things. And be good. While you be good, encourage your children to be good, to get involved in good, and to associate, encourage them to associate, and guide them to associate, guide them to mix up with the good friends, and to avoid abandon bad, evil friends. That will be the way for the success, progress of your children, of ours. May you all be well and happy.